Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10 short version podcast talking all things Pittsburgh sports. And today is Monday, November 4th. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. A lot of college football to anticipate. I'm not sure it delivered. Penn State, it's a tough one. Pitt, it was even worse. Steelers on a bye. Going to recap a lot of college football. And the Pitt basketball team, Duquesne, Robert Moore, everybody, they all start on Monday. Going to talk a little college hoops as well in the second half of this episode. Thank you so much for finding us. We're brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates. If you're injured in an accident, you're probably wondering what's next. For over 40 years, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped injury victims answer that question. Whether it's gathering evidence, collecting medical records, or dealing with insurance companies, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped over 75,000 people handle what's next. Call 1-800-94-EDGAR or visit edgarsnyder.com for a free consultation. And remember, there's never a fee unless they get money for you. All right, so I drove out to Penn State. I'm going to start with my sort of recap and thoughts on that one. And it starts, honestly, with James Franklin. He was the subject of my column off of the game and just this continuing to happen. The frustration that has been building with James Franklin. They're paying him a lot of money, and he's not able to do what he's supposed to do. They're not paying him to beat Minnesota. I don't know, Nebraska. Name a random Big Ten program that's not the elite of the elite. They're paying him to beat Ohio State, to beat Michigan. It's not happening. 1-10 against Ohio State. 1-13 when facing top 5 teams. Penn State has dropped 17 of 21 against top 10 opponents, 27 of 40 when the other team is ranked. It was such a weird scene post-game. So we're waiting there in the media room, and Franklin's taken quite a while. Well, we found out why. Arguing with a fan coming off the field. Not a great look, by the way. We'll get into a little bit more of that. But, getting booed, all this stuff before the alma mater play, it is very obvious the frustration that Penn State fans feel with James Franklin, and understandably so. I know a big question I had going into this weekend was what's at stake more? Or what game is more important? Is there more to lose with Pitt? Is there more to lose with Penn State? And I don't know if that's been answered, but I feel like the vitriol is much louder with Penn State, which is kind of ironic because Penn State still has college football playoff hopes, whereas it's really tough at this point unless there's some help to see that happening for Pitt. But anyway, to the post-game stuff, and then Franklin comes in and, starts talking about how they were an undisciplined football team on Saturday. I won't disagree with them, certainly. It also wasn't just that. They didn't play a good game. They didn't coach a good game. Penn State wasn't prepared for what you would think would be, their Super Bowl to this point. I didn't like some of the execution. At the end of the game, well, maybe not the end of the game, midway through the fourth quarter, Tyler Warren has a huge run down to the 3-yard line. And then they have 3 plays to get 3 yards, and they can't do it. 3 of the plays were the same thing, basically. Katron Allen. I don't understand why you don't get a little bit more imaginative. In the press box before the game, for crying out loud, they're giving us Tyler Warren for Heisman pieces of paper. Flip one to him. Hand it to him. Have him line up a quarterback. Anything even remotely imaginative. But no. And it's not just that. That wasn't the only problem. Drew Allar being intercepted in the end zone, not ideal. Obviously don't want that. Couple of penalties. An unsportsmanlike conduct. Elliot Washington II standing over a receiver. Abdul Carter lines up offsides on a 3rd and 2. That hurts. First drive, illegal man downfield penalty. They have to settle for 3. Should have been a field goal. To me, it kind of starts at the top, doesn't it? When your head coach is arguing with fans coming off the field, not sort of being the bigger person, not shaking it off, they're realizing this is an idiot fan. I don't need to engage with this person. It's not the first time. It's just getting a little bit old. And they're paying James Franklin a lot of money. And I don't have any great idea for how to get out of this situation. You can't just, hit Apple Z and make it all disappear. But Penn State has college football playoff hopes, and it's fairly dark at this point there. All right, going to take a short break, and then I want to get into some Pitt stuff on the second half. But first, a message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
And welcome back to First 10. I'm your host, Jason Mackey. We're here the middle of the morning, Monday through Friday, talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is kind of college sports heavy because of the big college football Saturday. No Steelers. They're on a bye in Washington this upcoming Sunday. All right, so Pitt football, similar optimism surrounding the program. They go down to SMU, supposed to be a big game in the ACC, and yeah, it wasn't. It was a pretty good shellacking there. 48-25, Pitt loses. They fall to number 23 in the latest AP poll. So what does that mean? And I don't mean to gloss over the Pitt stuff. And I probably shouldn't. I should probably get down into a little bit more details. If I'm criticizing Penn State, I should criticize Pitt just as much. And the tackling was atrocious. That was one of my bigger takeaways. They missed 15 tackles. 15. It was one of those nights, though, that just nothing went right. Seems like Ben Sauls missed a field goal, for crying out loud. In the offense, honestly, I think the concerns are valid. 3 points in the first basically 45 minutes of the game. They picked up a couple garbage time touchdowns. Not sure that really matters. I hope that maybe they learned something. Needing to get back on track, UVA offers sort of an opportunity to do that on Saturday. But it was a missed opportunity. Big time for Pitt. A couple teams ahead of them lost. And Texas A&M, Clemson, which we'll get to, Iowa State, Kansas State. It was an opportunity for Pitt to step up, to show themselves against SMU, and they stubbed their toe. They didn't protect Eli Holstein. That part was ugly. Was under pressure on 20 of his 57 dropbacks. Can't happen. Just absolutely can't happen. The only thing that sort of allows me to feel differently about Pitt in this circumstance, not that they're not supposed to be there, but if I would have told you Pitt was going to be 7-1 after 8 games, you would have taken it. Really. And they should be 8-1 after the UVA game. Yeah, it hurts their chances in the ACC championship game. I mean, that's certainly, as we look forward, they're going to need some help at this point. They need SMU to lose the rest of the way, and I don't feel terribly optimistic about that. SMU has 3 games left: Boston College, at UVA, and Cal at home. They're off this week. I don't know if I see a loss in there. Miami's the other undefeated ACC team. At Georgia Tech, home against Wake, and at Syracuse. They're off next week. I don't know if I see a loss in there. But at the same time, if Pitt winds up winning 9 or 10 games, is that really that bad? Based on how last year went? Based on the talent that they have? Again, not excusing it. Not excusing it whatsoever. It was a poor performance, and they've got a lot of work to do to come back from it. But I think the expectations were a little higher at Penn State than they were at Pitt. I don't know. It was an exciting weekend. It kind of fizzled out. Let's hope the college basketball season is a little better. Well, a lot of things happening there. I'm going to be heading to the Peterson Event Center. Pitt opens its season against Radford. Really excited for a lot of things college basketball related in general. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Pitt and some stuff I'm curious about. The story surrounding the Panthers at this point is basically unfinished business dating from last season, right? Snubbed out of the NCAA tournament, one of the first 4 out. Made it to the semifinals of the ACC tournament. I'm recapping for maybe some of you that don't know or have forgotten. There are others of you that certainly won't forget and are still sort of chapped by it, and I understand that. And selfishly, this is just a personal aside. I'm psyched to be around this stuff a little bit more as a columnist. I was raised going to Pitt basketball games. My mom worked for Pitt for a while, and we would go to so many games at the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. I remember going there, seeing and meeting, Chad Varga and watching Vontigo Cummings and Ricardo Greer and old Fred Primus or Isaac Hawkins or Sean Miller, Darren Morningstar. Like we went back a ways. I'd go to Pitt basketball camp every summer. And so anyway, it's just been a part of my life for a long, long time, and I'm excited to be around it in a professional capacity as well. I'm also fascinated by the story that Pitt has going on. Not only coming back from that snub, and that's sort of still burning bright, being picked to finish 7th in the ACC. That's the highest of Jeff Capel's tenure, but he's got a lot of losses to address, right? No more Blake Hinson, no more Bub Carrington, Fede Federico, William Jeffers. They're losing a lot. I didn't realize how much Pitt's nearly 40 points per game, 17 rebounds, basically 6 assists, 2 blocks out the door. They've got some talent coming back, certainly. Jalen Lowe, Ish Leggett, excited to see them, and a couple transfers. Damian Dunn, a guard from Houston. Cameron Corhen, center from Florida State. They should be experiencing getting a lot of high volume minutes. Let's say it that way. They should be counted upon to do quite a bit, and I think how quickly that comes together is going to determine a lot. I don't know if we'll see that against Radford. Radford is not a terrible team. I wouldn't say is an elite team, but it should be a good opening season test for the Panthers, and I'm excited to put eyes on them for the first time. Also excited to get out to Duquesne, Robert Morris, any college basketball site that will have me. A lot of intrigue there. All right, already a few minutes over. Thanks for sticking with me. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get this and a whole bunch more content from our Post-Gazette YouTube and North Shore Drive podcast channels. I'll be back here wrapping up Pitt's season opener, as well as plenty of Steelers and Penguins talk in the days ahead. Thanks so much for watching First 10, everybody.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.